Alright, what's up everybody? Good morning. This is Bullish Bears Dan. Taking a look at the charts this morning. What a crazy Friday, crazy weekend of news and events. And now we got futures. Gonna take a look at futures and SPY, Apple, TVIX. Morning guys. It is nuts. It is nuts. So the first thing we really want to look at is the big picture. And I've had this wedge on my charts for a while now, right? I kind of just separated it with these lines because I knew I was going to leave these here for a while. And now you can just see the massive amount of volume, right? We've been pretty much trending below this volume trend, I should say. And we got explosive amount of selling volume, bringing us back to the bottom of the wedge. So the last time we saw volume like this, we had kind of a quick sell-off to create this wedge, right? Because this wedge, I guess, technically it could have been wider. You never know if these wedges are going to widen out or not, right? You really have to wait for confirmation with rising wedges, or you will get you'll get stopped out, you'll jump in too soon, get out too late. The timing will be all off unless you wait for confirmation, especially on rising wedges. Okay, it's always true for trading. But imagine if this wedge decided to, now it may actually choose to do this. So this wedge may bust, and the daily of the S&P futures may drop below and hit one of these Fibonacci levels. Maybe it hits another moving average, maybe the 200 SMA down here, which is this light blue, and then it retests the wedge, and then it drops again, and then eventually, before you know it, markets decide to, this is hypothetical, but they decide to widen the wedge, and price continues up. So you have to be on the lookout for that, because it's so common in general with rising wedges. So that is that. We're below the 50. I know the 100. I don't have the 100 on this chart at the moment, but the 100 SMA is there too. Yeah, there's the 100 SMA on ES. So, and you guys have seen me use this on balance volume study. We're definitely trending below our volume trend line here. So there is some there's probably going to be some more pullback. I like to draw trend lines on everything, so I will look for a deeper pullback still before we touch this line. This is actually our volume trend line, and a lot of people will do this on lower indicators. So look at RSI or MACD. There's so many different lower indicators people will use, but you even have a rising wedge on your on-balance volume. So we're definitely, in this zone below this wedge. We'll see how low we go. I have a Fibonacci level here, 28.46. So maybe they push it all the way down there. We've got a lot of good earnings behind us. So it's and then I think we have economic data out today. Is it PMI data today? Let's see the economic calendar. Let's see, economic, yeah, there. We got data in 27 minutes. So market composite PMI, services PMI. Then we have manufacturing out later today. I check investing.com pretty much every morning. So we've got a block of economic data out today. We also have Brainerd speaking. So he's a very vocal FOMC member who's been known to move the markets a little bit here and there. And then, of course, we got tweets and all other kinds of news that could come out and make this market bounce around. So that's futures. Apple is one of my go-tos for trading options on. And I'm looking at Apple. We've just been pretty much taking the stairs down here. 197.51. Let me clear this chart real quick. So let's see, hourly chart. We're gonna have to go back probably to 4 hour. Yeah, let's see what we got for a trend. And it's possible. You could see Apple broke this megaphone. It's actually still in the megaphone. I was hoping that it was going to, cup and handle and break all-time highs and rally harder and higher. But instead, it looks like we will likely see Apple continue to pull back. Basically, trade inside this quadrant or this pattern. But you could see right here, it had put in about a down channel, a bit of a falling wedge. This is a very steep decline. I don't think so. This is my target. At some point, it's going to test this trend line. Now it's a moving target, so it might be further up here. So we'll have to watch and see just the momentum. Is it going to trend below this 200 SMA in the 4-hour? If we take a look at the daily, the daily is going to be likely to test the 50 or the 100. We got the ex-dividend date coming up. So, it's not going to go straight down. There's going to be gaps. It's going to be gappy and bounce all over. So day traders are definitely going to have their way with these big stocks like Apple. All right, see you green. So if you guys want to example the stock alerts, we got a free 2-week trial. You can come in. You can see the history of our private Twitter. You can just go through the feed, check out the alerts that we give. You can also check out our alert setups. So those are posted nightly on the website. So we have alert setups that are posted nightly for the next day, and then we have real-time stock alerts, which you guys can access with Twitter. So rather than go into it, it would be good for you guys just to go in and check for yourself. Maybe that's a good idea. Do a live stream, and we'll go over some of the alerts sometime. Right now, my brain's just focused on the pre-market right now. So, just looking at Apple pre-market, it really depends if we're going to get any type of bounce when the economic data drops later today. But I use these 5-minute charts, these moving averages. I actually did a 5-minute video for you guys on our channel that explains how I use these momentum moving averages to find entries and exits and really good setups. And just looking at the overall downtrend of this, right, we've got some angular resistance through here. There's a bit of a falling wedge, right? So we got kind of a down channel within a falling wedge. This has been going on for a few days now. There's obviously some bigger channels potentially at work here, but I'm going to watch this falling wedge for any type of short squeeze breakout, and eventually, if we get above some of our momentum moving averages, we may test this line way up here on Apple. It's, again, moving target, but, maybe it tested in the upper 206, maybe it's the lower 206 or 205. It could take a while. It could hit it in the pre-market or after hours. It's you never know when these trend lines are going to be tested, but you'll get hints when price action starts trending above these momentum moving averages. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Apple. If we can get some big volume, bull flag, break this 200 SMA, there could be a nice trend day, bit of a bounce. Let's take a look at SPY real quick. Right, very similar. As you can see, these algos have been bringing the prints way up here to this line, and we have kind of this like downward megaphone channel. So similar thing, right? We're going to trade inside this channel most likely. If we break out, we can get squeezed up to 296, maybe even 297. A squeeze up to 297. It all depends on if the shorts are going to get squeezed and covered based on good data or something with China saying they want a deal. There's so much that can happen in this market for sure. So we'll be watching that. Let's take a look at TVIX. So TVIX has been rocking, right? You had an ascending triangle here, breakout, and this thing is just making consolidation triangles and then popping. It's usually popping overnight. Right now we've got a bit of a rising wedge, kind of a narrow up channel on TVIX. These don't last. This will turn into some type of consolidation triangle. This could turn into a descending triangle. There's a lot that could still happen here. We want to take a look for any, well, you can see really the big pop out here, huh? If you go back and look just at the trend, this is where it got really wild. And look at all the volume that comes in. This is your confirmation, guys, right here. When you see a volume trend, volume studies are very important to me. When you see your on balance volume, you could see a little crest right here and then a pullback, right? But the majority, even right here, you start to get a really good hint something was going on. The volume started to step up through here. But, you know, you see these trend lines break out with confirmation on volume. That's what you want. This is what helps you go long and gives confirmation to your trades, right? That breakout, you had that higher high in the hourly, and it's just been making nice run, right? Nice consolidation, bull flags, bull pennants. Right now, I'd look for this sucker to pull back for sure, at least to that 9 EMA hourly, possibly lower and curl over and make some kind of a triangle. I want to go back out a little bit further, actually a lot further, and take a look and see. Yeah, there's really not much for trend lines in the way except on a daily time frame. So you see a daily close and this 200 up here. This is a very important area. You could give this a haircut, or you could go right to the wicks. You know, some people like to go right to the top of the wick like that. That might be the best way to do it for this. All right, you got this kind of massive falling wedge, massive. So with all this volume, this thing might have the juice to, well, you can see on Friday, it kind of started to make an evening star pattern. So if this next daily candle that shows up on our Thinkorswim chart drops much lower below this candle, right, and we get this big pullback, this is going to be looked at as a short entry, a short volatility, and bring this lower. Now remember, we're at the bottom of that rising wedge. Okay, so if you look at TVIX and the daily candle setup, it's giving you some hints. You know, going back to futures, right? This is a major wedge that's held. This can turn into a doji candle today, and the next thing you know, the market's back at all-time highs in 2 weeks into August. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let's look for confirmation on today's candles and see if there's a reversal coming. That would be very telling if TVIX makes a big red engulfing daily candle today. Then again, because of the size of this rising wedge and how far away we are from the last time we made contact with it, I could see going into all throughout August testing the 200 and maybe making some contact with TVIX up here in the 30s, right? The lower 30s potentially, somewhere out here. So towards the end of August, beginning of September. We have to watch these daily moving averages. We have to watch the volume, momentum, the candlestick setups to see what they tell us. So that's about it. I'm going to go jump back over into our trade room. There's about 3 minutes to the open. So I want to get set, ready, set, go for when the bell rings, see if there's any type of bounce plays on major stocks. I'm also looking at defense stocks with things that are heating up in the Middle East. There's Boeing. Boeing is at the bottom of the channel, so before I go, I'll give you guys this one too. Boeing. Let's see what it's doing pre-market. So I'm really looking for contact here. Yeah, see, we're so close to making contact right here. I'd rather just let this make contact, but it's possible they start jumping in on this one too. So I'm going to be watching this trend line here. Got a bit of a mini descending. If we get some big volume pop out of here, I might do a long on Boeing and target somewhere out in this right angle up here. It would be really nice to see it retest the channel that it fell out of. So if you notice right here, I'm going to make this line dotted. All right, so you see this right here? This would love to retest this dotted line. So if we get some news, some type of catalyst, some volume comes in, dip buyers, and this would be a great junction point for time and price. So, you know, towards the beginning of next week, maybe this thing rallies and somewhere tests either this descending angle or this rising trend line here. That would be a really nice target to try to shoot for. But again, we got to wait for confirmation. We don't have it yet. So, all right, guys. Happy hunting to you guys. Thanks for watching the stream. I'm going to try to, you know, pop in maybe this afternoon, and maybe we'll go over some other midday recaps and things like that. But we typically try to stream at least once a day for you guys in the morning, or maybe a watch list or something. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you guys later. Enjoy.